think about like the greatest athletes of all time, the GOAT in each niche, went through their own SquidHaus journey. Michael Jordan was like kicked off the team. Tom Brady was the backup. Serena Williams was like the black girl from Compton who everyone was like, what the fuck? Like this does not fit at all. And then she became literally the greatest player of all time, right? So the people who most people look at in the early days are like, oh, they're going to be the one, like they're a star, usually aren't the ones that can last. It's the underdog.
Welcome everyone to the Eons Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Alex Wolfe. And on the show, we like to have deep, intimate conversations with amazing human beings that are eons ahead. But what does it mean to be eons ahead? Well, it means they're ahead of their time. They see things other people don't see, and they're able to communicate these visions to the world and manifest their dreams into reality, making a positive impact for humanity. And they're often doing things that other people are simply not doing. They're trailblazers, they're pioneers, they're leaders in their space. And our guest today is definitely one of those. His name is Lukas Pakter. And Lukas is a 23-year-old successful entrepreneur. He's the founder of a brand called SquidHaus. It's a men's activewear line that's crushing it. And he's also the founder of a high network social group called Outliers that we'll talk about today as well. And besides all that, he's got over 500,000 followers across all platforms. And this young man is really crushing it. But what I really, really love about him is his authenticity, his honesty, his transparency, and the way that he shows up in the world. And he really is an outlier himself, and he is eons ahead. And he's here today, Lukas Pakter.
Thanks, man. That was great. That was probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said. So that's
Thanks, hilarious. You're awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I think for anyone listening or watching, like I'm usually the one interviewing, so it's fun to be in the opposite seat now. So thanks for having me.
I'm happy you're here. It's fun to turn the tables on you. We had a good podcast last year. We had a lot of fun. And we're going to have some more fun here today. We're going to dive into all things Lukas Pakter.
Sweet.
So let's go back a little bit, Lukas. For my viewers that don't know you, I've had the chance to get to know you a little bit over the last year and a half or so. And there's many things that I admire about you, especially for being such a young, successful entrepreneur. I could relate to that whole journey. But let's talk about the journey a little bit. It wasn't always champagne and roses for Lukas. It was a bit of a challenging start, and you had a bit of a rough go, adolescence and stuff like that. Do you mind sharing a bit about that?
I think everything's like relative, so like, I try never to compare myself to other people, whether it's like good or bad things. Cause like there's definitely like thousands of people that have had early experiences that were 1,000 times worse than me, objectively, right? And then there's people that have had way easier ones, right? So like whatever anyone's going, and it's the whole like a rough physical childhood or a rough mental experience you go through as a kid, like you just can't relate them. But yeah, for me, I mean, definitely like there's been a lot of controversy in my early years.
Like what?
Which I bring on myself. I've just always been a controversial dude. Like in high school, I was like, I went to a very small high school, lots of drama, shit talking. It was like 400 people. Everyone knew everyone's first and last name.
Yeah. Where was this?
St. Helena, California. So like, cool. I was very blessed to grow up in like a very beautiful, safe area.
Yeah.
No crime. I mean, like I would like sleep in my car sometimes after a party. Cause like, I lived up in the mountains. So like, if there was a party in town, like I would just sleep in my car after, like doors unlocked, not a worry in the world that anyone would ever like harm you or steal something. Right. Safe area. So
cool.
Very like privileged and fortunate for that. But yeah, there's a lot of drama. So like I was kind of like the center of a lot of the drama in the town. I think.
Were you a prankster or?
No, I mean, I just was like the same way I am now. I was very honest with people. So like if there was a group of girls that were, like causing chaos, like talking shit, I was kind of the one that would like plan the parties, you could say. Everyone in our town was Sue happy. So like no one wanted to throw parties at their house. So I would kind of like organize like these parties in the woods and these parties at like these empty lots and stuff like that. And I would, to give you like an example, because I think stories and examples are the best way to explain stuff. Let's say it's like Friday, it's Friday at lunchtime. We're all hanging out eating lunch. Like the girls come up, they go, hey, good luck at the football game tonight. Like what's going on at the party after the game, Lucas? I'd be like, well, I heard you were talking shit yesterday, so like you're not coming, but we're all gonna go to like Matt's house.
Yeah.
And I would say this like right to their face.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, when you act like that, people, it's controversial. I've
Right.
always had a lot of people that really liked and appreciated me, and then equally as many that hate me or don't like me, or And I think that's a good thing, actually. I think you
I
need.
think so too.
I think if you don't stand for something, you'll fall apart, right? And I think a
right.
lot of people these days try and like walk this imaginary line of like making both sides happy. And this isn't even about politics, but like making both sides happy all the time.
Mhm.
And when you do that, you alienate both groups of people.
Yeah.
And
It's not relatable.
sure, like maybe no one will hate you, but then no one will love you. You know what I mean? So I definitely lean on one side on most issues and stuff. And so I've always been controversial. And then that led into college. Like in college, I joined a fraternity. I was probably the most hated kid in the fraternity at first.
Why is that?
Same sort of thing. Like I didn't conform, like I remember
just being yourself and being authentic.
Just being myself, and I didn't want to like suck up to people, but I also talked a lot. Like I was really annoying, rightfully, people hated me, rightfully so. I was annoying. I was immature. But then, I like kind of over time won the hearts of people in the house.
Mhm.
And
How so? How did you do that?
I don't have the highest IQ, but I have a very high EQ. I understand like how people work. And I knew that. So like I went home over COVID. We all got sent home from school, and I just was not having a good time. No one really liked me, didn't really have any friends. Like I was in like the biggest, most popular fraternity on campus, which a lot of people from the outside would be like, oh, you're in that house? Like that's awesome. But I didn't have any friends in the house really. Like no one really liked me. The older guys didn't like me or respect me. So I was like, okay, I can either transfer and like run away from my problems because I don't like it here, or I can like try and make this the place that I want to be, right? So like change it from the inside. And I knew in order to do that, I'd obviously need the respect of people, and people would have to like me and like want to take me seriously. So I just like really worked on myself for 6 months. It was great because it was COVID, we're all at home. So I just like I literally turned into a different person. Like the person that left school, I came back looking like a different hair, different clothes, different style, way bigger and more fit. Like fitness is super important to me. So came back a different person. People were like, oh, what the fuck happened to Lucas?
Yeah. So how'd you do that? Did you work out a lot, or what was the transformation
working out a lot.
process?
Just getting like really honest with myself, right? Do I talk too much, right? Do I need to? I think I was, funny enough, like fighting for approval from a lot of people in the early days. And I wasn't really being myself. I was like saying the things and doing the things that I thought other people wanted to see or hear. Because I wanted to be like popular or cool, whatever. And because of that, I think people can just feel that that's not authentic. So when I came back to school, I said, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want, just say whatever I say. And interestingly enough, like that actually made a lot of people really like me. And I think that's like a great lesson for anyone listening, whether you're young or old, guy or girl. The more you try and fight for other people's approval, like people can naturally feel that.
Yeah.
So the second I started just like acting really like myself, I actually started making more friends, which was like kind of the opposite of what you'd expect. And so I come back to school, and I would love to say that like everyone in the house looked up to me and voted me in their president as like the youngest president ever because I was the most qualified. But the truth was, COVID happened. You had more liabilities than ever. No one was paying their dues. There were no parties. People were just drinking 24/7, breaking stuff around the house. Like it's probably the worst time to be president of a fraternity, which is already a huge liability as is. And no one wanted to run for president. Usually there was like 5 to 10 people that were lining up, like having to fight against each other in campaign. And you had to sell yourself to the group. Why you should be the guy over the other 5 people, 10 people, whatever. No one wanted to do it that year. And I was really young. I was like, I'll fucking do it. Right. So
how old are you at this point?
Like 19.
Okay.
Normally it's like a 21-year-old. And so, yeah, I ran for president, like pretty much unchallenged. and I got it. And once again, like, even though the guys my age kind of respected me, the older guys didn't. They were like, who the fuck is this kid? We're not going to imagine telling like a 22-year-old senior that like you're in charge now as a 19-year-old sophomore and they need to listen to you and you know what's best for the house when they've been here for 4, sometimes 5 years because they're fifth years. And so it was tough at first, but I knew that, okay, if I could get us through this like really challenging time that was COVID, I was pretty much betting that by the second half of my term that COVID would be over. And then it was, fortunately. And then we had like the best second semester ever. It was super fun, all these parties. People were paying dues again, and I got to have fun and enjoy that. But it was definitely like tough. I feel like I learned just as much, if not more, about people and leadership being a 19-year-old fraternity president than I did running a, multi-million-dollar business. So,
Wow.
but that taught me a lot of the lessons that then I used for like my content and my business and everything. So, but yeah,
Cool.
that's kind of like the early backstory, I would say.
Cool. Well, let's
Yeah.
get into those lessons that you got since we're there right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are the lessons that you really got besides, being authentic is such a powerful frequency for, I would say it's the most powerful frequency. And yes, you're going to polarize people because some people, just can't step up to that authentic thing. They're people pleasers and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then other people, it's going to really resonate with them because deep down, they really want to be authentic.
Mhm.
I think people at their core, they just really want to be themselves and they're trying to find their way in the world. So how did you find your way through that equation? And more so, what were the like key lessons that you got out of that situation, being the school fraternity president,
Mm.
and then shifting into entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest one was just understanding how people work, right? Because every business is only as strong as its people.
Mhm.
You could have the greatest idea, the greatest plan, the greatest system. If you don't have good people, you're cooked,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, as fraternity president, like I was running a house of like 150 dudes, and it literally is a full business. Like it
Wow.
brought in over $1 million a year in revenue.
Wow.
You had your
Where's
sales
the money coming from?
dues, just dues,
Fees?
right? Yeah, so like you had 140 people paying about $3K a year, and then you had the 50 people that lived in the house that were paying, $8K a year rent and all this. Like
Got it.
you would do fundraisers and get donations from alumni, all these things.
Mm.
So there was like a sales process, there was a management process, there was a hiring process. Like,
Wow. It's really a business.
yeah, and you had to learn like when I would, for example, the sales process. I still use this when I hire people today. A lot of the other fraternity, we did really well during Rush. Like we had like 99% of kids that we offered bids joined our house, which was like the highest rate at the school at the time.
Wow.
And what I did was the opposite of what the other houses were doing. So if you were like a freshman, you were really impressionable, you were trying to pick your house, your group, your people, right, for the next 4 years, which is really dictates your entire college experience, more so than your education or your class. It's like the friends you have. What other fraternities would do is they'd say, oh, this house sucks and this house sucks and this is how great we are. And they're going to like haze you and they're going to make you drink and these guys are fucking boners and we're cool and we have the better parties and look at our Instagram. And they talk about how great they are and how bad the other ones are.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that as a freshman. I was like, this is not the right way to sell people, at least not the right people. And so during our rush process, like when my rush committee would bring in the best prospects, you could say, like the coolest kids who we really wanted in our PC because the cooler guys you have in your house, not just in terms of like good looking, handsome jack dudes, but like genuine good guys who would create a great culture and like people you'd want to be friends with. I would do the opposite of that. I'd say, hey, listen, man, like you're a stud. You're going to have the best 4 years of your life, whether you go to this house or that house or our house, you're going to have the best time of your life. I'm not even going to tell you that like this house is going to be the one for you. It might not be.
Mm-hmm.
How about I tell you like what our house is about? Maybe it's a good fit, maybe it's not. And I would actually say the bad things first. I would say like, we throw great parties, right? We have a great time. We have the biggest party of the year, but like, just so you know, we're pretty tough on each other, right? Like we expect a lot from our brothers. This is like not if you're just looking to party for 4 years straight, it's U of A, big party school. This is not the house for you. Like we're going to challenge you. We're going to want you to get the best grades you can while also having a good time. we're going to be on your ass. And sometimes it's going to be annoying and frustrating. Like, yo, get off my ass, bro. Like, I just want to have a good time. That's not how our house is. We want to create a culture. I was starting businesses in college too. All of them failed, but I had multiple businesses in college.
Good lessons.
Yeah, great lessons.
Yeah.
And so I would tell the kids coming in, like, I have my own business in addition to running this fraternity. I'm trying to create this culture of like young hustlers. We don't want people that are going to peak in college and talk about it for the next 40 years. We want guys that don't even think about college in 20 years because their life is so fun. And that was just like the start, right?
Of that.
So I would kind of just like, I call it like anti-selling. It's like talking about like the negative stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would like every once in a while throw in one of the good things. Like, yeah, like we have this awesome party every year. I'll show you a video of it. But, to be honest, like you're not even allowed to come if you don't have good grades. And so anti-selling. And then at the end of the conversation, I would just say, once again, man, you're a stud. You're going to have the best time ever. In when it comes to picking the house that you want to be in, like no one is going to pick it except for you. And so I know you'll make the right choice, whatever it is. And then I would like give a little smirk, So like imagine telling someone to their like, and you're like this cool older classman, like the president, like a top house, talking myself up, talking to this young impressionable kid. You're like, I know you'll make the right choice. And then you give them like a little smirk. They always came back every single time.
I love
except for one kid. One got away.
Yeah.
But I use that same methodology when I'm hiring employees. Like later today, I have a call with the head designer for one of like the biggest and fastest growing and coolest men's sportswear brands today.
Cool.
I don't know if I should say the name or not, so I'll probably hold back on that.
Hold back, yeah.
But I'm going to try and poach this guy from this company, and I'm going to do the same thing with him. I'm going to be like, hey, listen, bro, like this is going to be a lot more challenging than your previous job. You're probably going to work longer hours. Quite frankly, you're probably going to get paid less. But like our goal is to turn this into the next Lululemon. This isn't even really about clothes. This is about creating a story for young, ambitious guys. It's about creating a community and a brand that people want to buy into, that people want to be a part of, because it's like what's new and it's what's happening. And it's something that benefits people beyond just like the products on their body. But that means I make them feel really important. So I'll say, you as the designer, you are what's going to make this brand matter, not me. I'm just the fucking guy picking who gets to be here. You're going to be the guy, if you decide to work with us, who is essentially who we're relying on to help us create this story, this vision, because the products are the vehicle to achieve the goal, right? And that also goes into how I ran the fraternity when it came to like, we had 40 different committees in the house. And, I'm not getting paid to run the fraternity. No one else is getting paid. So you're convincing 40 different people to do work when they instead could be partying or having fun for free.
Right.
Like imagine like telling some kid, like you're going to run our alumni committee and communicate and send emails to the alumni every single week when you could be part. And by the way, you get nothing in return, right? You have to convince them why they should use their time on this. So you have to sell them on like, hey, even though you're not getting paid, this is going to be huge when it comes to internship opportunities, right? You might find a great mentor with these alumni, these wealthy Jewish alumni. We were a Jewish house. These guys might have amazing job and professional career opportunities. Like this is way more valuable than a little internship working at some, finance company. Like you actually get to sit down and talk with alumni who want to talk with you because you're in control of their old fraternity. So you really have to figure out ways to get people to believe in whatever it is you're working on, and you can't throw money in there at all. And I think at the end of the day, like the truth is, you read any great book about leadership, like the best people, they don't really care about money. Like money is important, but like the greatest leaders in the world, like think about like military generals, like they're not getting paid that much, right? They're risking their life. They're working, long shifts every day. There's no days off when you're a general, right? Or the best entrepreneurs in the world, like usually they don't pay themselves for a long, long time. It's not about money. The money will come for sure. And so that's also important, is explaining that, whether it's through vesting or equity, saying, hey, my goal is to make this $1 billion company. And if you're here from the start, you get to if you help us get to the end of the rainbow, like you will get a piece of that pot of gold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's selling that too. But yeah, I mean, enough rambling. It's just like you learn a lot about how to sell people when you cannot give them money.
Right.
And I think that was very useful for business.
Yeah, absolutely. Big. It sounds like, you're really tapping into their EQ, like you said, their emotional intelligence, because there's no money on the table. So it's really getting them to become clear with why are they doing this. And then when you get someone to connect or identify with the why, that's the driver. And there's an incentivization factor there. It sounds like, you get access to these alumni, you're going to have a purpose, you get to build your skills and all this kind of stuff. So in this call today, are you going to offer this guy any equity, or is it just more like prove yourself first and then maybe there'll be equity down the road?
That's a good question. I'm very generous. I used to have a mindset of like, oh, I want as much as possible. But then I started to realize like, Elon Musk, what does he have? Tesla, 14%. Jeff Bezos has 6%.
Yeah.
In order to get your business to the only thing that it doesn't matter how fast your first lap is if you don't win the race, right? So I remind myself of this every single day, whether it's with the investor calls we're taking right now or equity for employees. The only thing that matters is that you finish and win the race.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter how fast your business is growing right now if you don't get to the end goal, right?
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
Yeah. And and to be honest, here's the other thing is like, I would rather my company become $1 billion company and I only get 100 million of it, 50, let's say 50. I would rather sell for $1 billion and only get 50 million than have it be a $200 million business and get 100.
Yeah.
Because this is one of, I think, many, right? How much more leverage will you have in the future if you're able to say, I had $1 billion company? How many more, what kind of talent can you get at that point? What kind of impact can you make at that point, right?
That's the point.
It's like the long game, and yeah, I think just giving, so with the guy later today on this call, I'll probably tell him like, hey, if you are instrumental in terms of our path to success, like you will 100% be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a trial for 3 months and see how that works. And then we'll offer something probably.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that approach. That's probably what I would do too.
Yeah.
Always try it out before you buy it and then let the guy prove himself and see how committed he is. So that's a good call. Okay. So we're going to shift a little bit on this story. So fraternity president, the youngest fraternity president ever. You're in there, you learn these lessons, these codes in business, and then you already had the entrepreneurial spirit. I think you did like a vodka product or something like that. I remember
I was selling
saying
a lot. I was selling, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I funded my business selling alcohol and Viagra in college.
Hey, there we go.
So I was like the Viagra and alcohol dealer. I would like, the business that I really wanted to succeed in college was like this alcoholic drink. Because my family is in the wine business.
Okay.
So I grew up on like a vineyard.
Cool.
My mom and stepdad both worked for a winery.
Cool.
And I hated like gross alcoholic drinks, sugary, and you felt like ass the next day.
Yeah.
And so I would make my own alcohol in the fraternity. I would go to Costco. I'd buy like, with a fucking fake ID. Like I'd buy the really nice, how Costco has that like Grey Goose. It's the same distillery that Grey Goose makes their vodka at.
Oh, cool.
So it's really high quality, but it's actually pretty affordable.
Nice.
I forget what it's called, but I would go buy dozens of massive bottles of vodka. I had like these big tanks in my room and I'd pour it all in there. It was very sanitary, don't worry. Pour it all in there. I'd clean it all up before I'd pour all this alcohol in there. And then I'd go and get like all this like organic fruit and I'd put the fruit in there and I'd let it ferment for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And it would, it sounds like, in the fraternity house kind of gross or whatever, but it was really clean and it was very professionally set up, at least as much as you can be. And I would order these really nice, like high quality bottles off Amazon. And I would sell these drinks that I called Rose for a lot, like $14 a bottle.
Okay.
In the fraternity. And each little bottle had like, 3.5 shots worth of alcohol in it. So like 2 of them would have you really feeling it, but it tasted amazing. It was carbonated, like
cool.
And
what flavor was it?
It was like raspberry, lime, and pineapple.
Nice.
It was good.
It's a nice combo.
It was really good.
Nice.
So I did that, and then
So you had the entrepreneurial spirit. I love that. Already in college.
yeah,
And then what was let's just get into
Sure.
SquidHaus.
Sure.
SquidHaus.
yeah,
Love the name. Super cool.
Thanks.
Let's talk about that too. Let's talk about the name, the inception story,
sure.
and dive into it. Because you've created something really cool here, Lucas, and I want
Thanks,
people to
man.
know about it. I'm really excited for this. I do see this as being the next Lululemon. And I know you got an amazing mission behind it too. It's not just another activewear brand. There's many activewear brands out there, but you have something that's really unique. So let's dive into SquidHaus.
Sweet, man. Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about it. And I think, like one of my mentors told me, like, focus on one thing. Like, what's the one thing that makes your company different? And I agree with him on that. It's better to really like focus down.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that I think make our company special. So yeah, it's called SquidHaus. It's a men's activewear brand. I want to do women's wear eventually. I don't feel qualified to do it right now. My goal would be to go poach someone from a big brand, like,
Sure.
and say like, hey, no red tape in our brand. Like, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
I love that.
But for now, it's menswear. Literally started as like a garage band clothing brand. I would order my first order. I ordered like a couple hundred pairs of shorts using an Alibaba manufacturer, and I just like sold it out of my car to my friends in the fraternity. And then once we had enough money, I started a website, and then I started showing it on social media, and then I started bringing on athletes, and it grew pretty quickly. But the whole concept of the brand is like, you have all these different activewear brands today that focus on usually a specific athletic niche or a sport. So you have like Gymshark for gym bros, Kill Crew for fighters, Bandit Running for runners, Oakley for runners. So what SquidHaus is it's not for like a specific sport. It's for what we consider like a type of individual. We call it the go-getter. So it's any young guy who's on his journey, who's really ambitious, who also has a passion for fitness. So that person might be an up-and-coming model, an entrepreneur like me, a founder. It might be a creator, influencer. It might be an agency owner, an athlete, a fitness trainer, anyone who's like has very high goals and ambitions, wants to buy high quality products. So, I personally think, and we've heard from a lot of our customers, that our quality is like just as good as Lulu, but we're half the price. But our designs are much trendier. If Lululemon has like a lime green boxy tee, we're like a dark monochrome black that's like, catered towards a more athletic fitting physique. So trendier designs that our customers like more than like traditional Lulu, Aloe Viore stuff. More on the activewear side, right? So like high quality products, very reasonable price, we think. And then our whole unique selling point is like our brand supports, once again, controversial, real body positivity. So the reason I say real body positivity is I think fitness is the easiest first step to change your whole life. But a lot of times, like the size that you start out at in your fitness journey is not the size you're going to end with. Maybe you're really skinny like I was and you put on 40 pounds of muscle. Maybe you're pretty overweight and you lose 40 pounds of fat, right? You're going to be a different size by the end. So what we do is if you buy our gear, once again, whether let's say you're skinny or like a size small, 130 pounds, or you buy an XXL, you're 240. If you plan on losing weight over like 5, 6, 7 months or gaining weight, you just have to like fill out a quick form on our site. And then if you actually do it, we'll send you a new item in your new size for free.
Cool.
So yeah,
great model.
We support real body positivity because like we actually care about our customers. You buy a t-shirt, you lose weight, I'll send you a new one, a new size.
That's awesome. And you stay with the brand and you're still repping and
oh, it's the best business model ever because like, guess what? If you're an XXL and you go down to a large and you're now stoked about your physique, you're not gonna want to wear a fucking baggy XXL shirt. You're gonna want to wear something that fits. So if I send you that large for free, you're probably going to need to go replace the other 6 shirts you have anyway. And because we just showed that we care about you, you're probably going to buy all of them from our company. So it's like it's a very good business move beyond just like, we like to support our customers and stuff. It makes sense economics wise. So yeah, that's kind of what sets our brand apart. And then we also just have like a really cult-like community of young go-getters. And that's partly because of my social media and our creative director's social media. He's like, at one point, he was the he was either the or one of the youngest jiu-jitsu black belts in the country.
Cool.
So yeah, we just try and bring in like a lot of studs into our brand that, are number one, good at their job, but more importantly are just like leaders of our generation, right? Guys who other guys can look up to and want to be like genuine people, great goals. We try and like create that culture within the brand.
I love that, man, because, there's a lot of young men really struggling these days, with anxiety and mental health issues and comparison and all these kind of stuff. And it sounds like, and it feels like this brand is really being like a positive role model for these young men, that they can tap into this brand, tap into this community, and really start their transformational journey, kind of like you did. You were,
I was a loser. I was a fucking loser, dude. Like, sorry to cut you off, but for anyone listening, like, I was like bullied like crazy in middle school, elementary school, beginning of high school, no friends. I was depressed and suicidal for a couple years. Like, and I actually love talking about that.
Tell us more.
Because like now I feel like the most grateful I've ever been. I'm so happy. Obviously there's lots of challenges and stuff on a daily basis.
Sure. It's part of it.
I love life now, and I'm very grateful. And it was the furthest thing from that 10 years ago, a decade ago, when I was like, call it 13 years old, 14 years old.
Right.
So, and I think fitness was what changed that, or it was the first step, right? Once you can show up for yourself consistently, and you can actually like physically see the results, and you get more confident. You're like, oh, I look good now. Oh, wait a minute. If I actually show up for myself, I can change the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
And so, I make my content. I have this business and I do all this because like I genuinely had that experience myself. And hopefully if we do a good enough job, we can encourage some other people to do it too. But
yeah, I love that. You had your own transformational journey. So you're speaking once again, authentically, honestly about your journey. I would never say you're a loser, but that's okay. So that's
hopefully not now, but
no, you're awesome, man. And you're crushing it. And I want young men to hear this, because you were in a really tough spot. That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier at the beginning, was you're going through a really tough time as an adolescent, and you didn't like yourself, you're hard on yourself and all this kind of stuff. And fitness was the thing for you that got you to start showing up for yourself. You started to learn these codes, discipline and progress. And, no matter what's going on, you'd start showing up for yourself. And then in that, you got more confident with yourself, with your voice, how to connect with people. So I think it's a wonderful journey. And I love that it bleeds into your brand that is you. Even the name SquidHaus, we were talking about this earlier, and I was like, dude, I love this name. It's great. I love that there's a squid emoji too. I always find that genius when there's an emoji that connects with the brand. Just my own little thing. But SquidHaus, let's talk about that. I think it's such a cool name. It's so unique.
Yeah.
So take me through.
Oh, I guess I didn't mention that first. Yeah. So
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, the name. A lot of people, when they hear the name, are like, "What? Why don't you do something else?" Right? That sounds. It just sounds. It sounds a little weird, and it is a little weird, honestly. But you think about like the names over the past couple generations that have really stuck long term, most successful brands of all time.
Yeah.
They usually have weird names. Adidas.
Yeah.
Nike. The founder of Nike hated Nike. He said that he thought it was weird at first.
Yeah.
Lululemon. Like, where does that come from?
Do you know where that came from?
Yeah, I read the book, and it's got a funny backstory, but come on, like that's not.
It's weird.
You tell. I'm sure when he told people, "Oh, my brand's called Lululemon," in the early days, they were like, "What?"
Yeah.
Especially back then, people were way more judgmental back then and stuff. But yeah, so I knew that I think it might be harder to gain traction in the early days by picking like a really unique name. But if it's a name that has a story behind it, if it has meaning, and especially if it's something that when you look it up on Google, there's nothing that's even close to it.
Exactly.
I think long term, it's going to be a huge asset for your brand.
Yes.
So the term SquidHaus, it's the name of our brand, but I also kind of want to turn it into like a metaphor of sorts.
Okay.
And I think of it as a metaphor or an analogy, you could say, because you have this term squid, which essentially just means like weak, skinny, scrawny, lacking confidence. It means like loser, pretty much. Like that guy's a squid. Not everyone's heard that term, but maybe it's like, it'd be like grunt in the military, the JV kid on the team. He's a squid.
Sure.
He's a loser.
Sure.
And then this term hoss, or some people pronounce it house. I grew up with hearing hoss. Urban Dictionary means the exact opposite: stud, confident, good at everything, excellence. Right? It means like he's the man.
He's the man.
So think about like the coolest guy you've ever met, not just in terms of like popularity, but he's just like a good, genuine guy. He's masculine. He's got his shit together. Like that guy's a hoss.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we combine SquidHaus is because the whole brand is about going from squid to hoss.
Yeah. Going
from like a loser who might be lacking confidence, lacking happiness, lacking purpose and
meaning in his life. Yeah.
To someone who's got it figured out. And the truth is like you'll never become the hoss. Like that's the goal, is like you're always chasing that. But I think, and you'd probably agree with this most, like anyone who's the best of the best, they don't think of themselves as like the best. They're always trying to get better. There's always more you can learn. You can always get a little bigger in the gym. You can always, like think of even athletes. You can always win one more game. You can always get that slightly faster time around the track.
Yeah, the work never ends. And those kind of people are constantly pushing themselves and constantly surrounding themselves with people that push them so that they don't get comfortable, because as soon as you get comfortable, the possibility of becoming the hoss, it's over. That dream dies off there. So
100%. And also you think about like the greatest athletes of all time, almost in every single one of these sports, the greatest athlete of all time, the GOAT in each niche, went through their own SquidHaus journey.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was like kicked off the team.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was the backup.
Yeah.
Serena Williams was like the black girl from Compton who everyone was like, what the fuck? Like this does not fit at all. And then she became literally the greatest player of all time, right? So I don't know. I think the people who most people look at in the early days are like, oh, they're going to be the one, like they're a star, usually aren't the ones that can last.
Yeah.
It's the underdog.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I think in order to be like great at something or successful, you can't be like nonchalant. I think you have to be very, I don't know if chalant itself is a word, but you have to be very chalant. You have to care.
Yeah, you have
to care about the little things. You have to be pissed off, even if you won the race, that you didn't get your PB, personal best. And I think people who, whether it's in sports or in social circles, people who were like, you think about it in terms of social settings, the guys and girls that were the most popular and coolest in middle school and high school usually don't go on to do great things, because when you grow up and you're fed compliments and you kind of rely on it, right? It like it's the same reason, like unfortunately a lot of good looking guys aren't good at talking to girls, because like they had it kind of easy in the early days, so they never were forced to get uncomfortable and actually learn how to talk to girls,
right?
And so like obviously there's anomalies and outliers and all that, but I mean, I think the people who were underdogs, who might not have been like athletically or genetically superior in the early days, who didn't have that slight advantage, and if anything, they were at a slight disadvantage, they had to work so much harder that they built up like this complex in their mind that, helped them throughout their career. And you look at the most successful businessmen of all time too, they were, this is kind of controversial too, but I heard a clip from a podcast the other day. It was a Silicon Valley podcast talking about the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. And he said all of them were either adopted, mistreated as kids, or gay.
Wow.
And like he's right. Like Steve Jobs adopted, Jeff Bezos adopted, Elon Musk, like traumatic childhood, Sam Altman, gay. And it's because like, unfortunately, you probably have a tougher childhood if you are in one of those three buckets. And I think long term that can actually be a great asset for you, is like having a little bit of a challenge early on versus like a super easy and loving childhood. And I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, of course. Well, challenge is what, especially for men, I'll speak as a man, of course, is challenge is what makes you grow. You don't grow on the top of the mountain sipping champagne, but you grow when you're in that valley and things get dark and things get challenging and the world is weighing in on you, or when you don't make the team, or when you get cut from the squad, or you don't make the group. And it's like you said, there becomes an activation point somewhere in your mind where it's like, okay, I'm going to change this for myself. I'm going to transform. I'm going to prove myself. And yeah, maybe there's a complex that gets developed there. Maybe there's a even identity that we can tap into, call it the hero of the journey or whatever it is. But that hero or archetype, it has its pros and cons because it can be extremely competitive and obsessive. But I think you're right, Lukas. I'd say the people that really, the champions, the GOATs, if you will, the best CEOs of all time and all this kind of stuff, they have that obsessive quality where it's just like nonstop all the time. And it's really, when I think about it, when I'm saying it out loud, it's like really what they're paying attention to. Like your attention is really like your reality creator. Like literally whatever you're focusing on is going to grow. And we'll talk about the things that you focused on in your life that are continually growing. And I think that's really what it is you keep just paying attention. It's all energy, so, and those things grow. And
I'm curious. I have a question for you.
Sure.
You're a big energy guy,
yep.
right? I'm curious how you take advantage of that and what your process for maximizing your energy is. I can't even quite think of the right way to word this question, but I think you know what I'm asking. Yeah, how do you maximize the energy of situations and what's kind of your process for that?
So it's an ever-going process. It never really ends, like we talked about. Like the work never ends. There's never the time where I'm the hoss and it's over. It's like it's a continual journey. And in that journey, it's really doing my best to continue to raise my frequency. And whenever my frequency, so I'll give you an example. It's like if I'm in a state of trust, I trust that the situation is going to work out. I show up to this podcast and I trust that we're going to have an awesome podcast. Instead of, showing up to the podcast or showing up to the meeting or showing up to the call with uncertainty or doubt or fear. Like a lot of people, that's where their mindset is at. I shift. I don't operate from doubt. I don't operate from fear. I don't operate from uncertainty. And I think that's the difference maker is like, yes, I'm aware sometimes of those thoughts. And it's like, oh, what is that thought? Oh, it's a doubting thought. But I don't operate from there. I don't move forward. I don't act on it. I don't send the email. I don't make the call until I'm like locked in on a frequency that is of a higher frequency. And when you're moving in the world in this higher frequency mode, like I'm sure you're experiencing in your life, things open up, right? And you start to attract people and successful people because they're also moving in this frequency. And things are going to come up. Challenges are going to come up. But the more that we become aware of that voice in the head, that's really like the anti-hero, the anti-hoss, being the squid.
The devil on the left shoulder.
The devil on the shoulder, the opponent, the adversary, whatever you want to call it. It talks about this in many ancient texts. It's just being aware that it's there and then turning it from, the enemy into like a training partner, like someone at the gym that's like motivating you, like, oh, I bet you can't lift this. And it's like, oh, I'll show you that I could lift this. And you kind of laugh at him, you give him that smirk and like, we'll see what you can do about this.
I have a great story for you.
I'd love to hear it.
Because I think you'd appreciate this. So I mean, like a couple months ago in our business, it's like everything went wrong at the same time. It was horrible. Honestly, I was on a trip. I was in Miami actually. And everything was going wrong. Like, one of our biggest, half of our sales just got erased overnight because one of our sales channels, it's like if you had 2 pizza shops, FDA shuts one of them down. Okay. Homeless person took a shit right in front of it. It's like, and then the inspector happened to be driving by right when that happened. Half of our sales disappear overnight.
Wow.
One of our biggest purchase orders of all time got delayed by quite a bit. So in order to get it over by holiday season, we had to air ship it. And it was mainly hoodies and sweats. So it was like a fucking $80K bill that came out of nowhere that we weren't expecting because like normally you ship it overseas, it takes like a month and a half on a boat.
Ship, yeah.
But just in order to get it over in time for holiday season, the biggest sales area of the year, we had to airship it, like express airship it. And so it was like this $80K bill out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We didn't have the money for it.
Wow.
And it wasn't even like we literally, we had to get it over to get the sales just to pay off bills that we already had. So it was like, oh my God, like even if we can't figure this out, like this doesn't even put us in a better place. It just solves like one of the many problems we have. So this all happened at the same time. And it was a lot, honestly. And I'm like looking at the numbers. I'm in a pretty negative headspace. I was looking at the numbers. I'm like, we're fucking cooked. Like there's literally no way out of this. Like I was like, we have to come up with like, and I had payroll due in a couple days. Like I had like maybe 140K due in like a couple of days. And we had no money in the account. It was like empty. And I was with my friend who's a little older. I think he's like late 20s, early 30s, really successful. The dude is the biggest like energy woo-woo guy I've ever met in my life. He wrote a book called The Perfect Walk.
Cool. Cool title.
Yeah, he's great. His name's Jared Gatz. I was on his podcast too. Amazing dude.
Cool.
I was with him for like a day and a half, 2 days straight. Dude's running a probably over a 9-figure business, hundreds of employees.
What does he do?
He started the first like drop ship. He was one of the first drop shippers, and then he started a massive drop shipping. I forget the word to call it. A drop shipping platform.
Cool.
It's called Zendrop.
Cool.
But I'm with him, and he just had like the best energy of anyone I've ever met. I was with him the entire day. He didn't check his phone once, and I'm just like amazed by that. Like, bro, don't you have a business to run?
Yeah.
Because I just let people do what they're here for. You know.
I love it.
Super cool,
love
relaxed
this guy
energy.
already.
And I'm like, yo, I need your advice on something, bro. I was like, I hate to like bring up some negative stuff, but I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna get out of this. I think we're cooked, and it's like it sucks. Like I know I'll survive, and at the end of the day, like we'll start something else. But I'm like, I think we're fucking cooked, dude. And I said, what would you do in my situation? And he takes a big deep breath. He goes, you know what you need, Lukas? You need to take a walk. And I was like, it's like, Jared, I don't need I was like, bro, I have like 120K due in 4 days and I have zero money. I was like, I don't need a fucking walk, dude. Like I need answers. I need solutions. Like help me out here, bro. I was like, give me something, bro. I was like, I need solutions to this problem.
Yeah.
And he goes, just trust me on this. And he hands me a book. It's like a really thin book, maybe like 70 pages. It's called The Perfect Walk. He goes, I wrote this the other day. It's not out yet. Read this. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? And he goes, he's like, do you trust me? He's like, I think I have my life figured out. He goes, just trust me on this.
Nice.
I said, okay, I'll trust you. And so on the plane ride back, I finished the book on the plane. It's super easy read. Great book, actually. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but if anyone's listening, phenomenal.
Cool. We'll put it in the notes.
Yeah, great. And the book talks about how, the other thing he said to me, he goes, Lukas, I bet you're trying to think of a solution right now. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I bet you're just thinking like crazy. How do I think of a way out of this problem that I'm in? I said, yeah, exactly. He goes, it doesn't work that way. He goes, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. He goes, no solution. You're not going to think of a solution, dude. He goes, especially not in this mindset. He goes, you need to picture yourself being the man, the guy that figures this out. And then the answer will come to you. And so I'm reading his book, and it pretty much explains how to go on a perfect walk where you opened up your mind in the beginning, and then you listen to certain vibration music, and it like pretty much walks you through this process of being enlightened on a walk. And it was crazy. I just fully let go, and I trusted him. I said, I'm just going to fully try it. No skepticism. I said, might as well. I got no other solutions. And I go on the walk, and I'm listening to some music. I was like movie soundtrack music, like Dark Knight Rises theme song, like stuff that's what it tells you to do is like listen to music that you personally think makes you feel powerful, like you are the main character, and you're, like so. I listened to. You ever seen Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Or Dark
Knight, Batman?
Yeah. Remember that scene where he's like climbing out of the hole? He's like in that pit that Bane threw him in. He's climbing out of the hole.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he gets to the top of the hole and he's like, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm like listening to that song, trying to just picture myself like, and then I'm listening to like the Oppenheimer like theme music, trying to picture myself a couple years from now, like my ideal life, like with my wife on a yacht, holding our new firstborn son, business is doing super well, platform's doing really well. I'm just trying to imagine like how good that's going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the walk, literally right as the song is ending, as I'm literally like getting to the street where the walk ends, it's so crazy. I got a text from this massive family office that we were speaking to about potentially investing.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much said like, yo, we're really interested in this. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal wasn't, this was 4 months ago. So like the deal is now, I think, going to close this week, which is going to be fucking awesome. So I didn't get the money back then or anything, but what it gave me was like a little bit of hope, like, oh my God, this worked, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden I was feeling really good, really high vibration, high energy. I go back to my apartment. I'm just feeling like powerful and good and ready for the next challenge. So I sit down, I start looking over the numbers and stuff. And it's almost like the numbers changed. Like obviously they didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like we can actually make this work.
There you go.
Like we'll get past it. Like I can see a solution to this.
Yeah.
And it was probably like one of the coolest experiences I've ever been through because it made me realize like you literally cannot see a solution when you're in the wrong headspace.
Totally.
And what I thought was like an unsolvable problem actually did have a solution to it.
Yeah.
You just had to go on a walk.
Yeah.
So I know that's a long story, but yeah, it's pretty life-changing, honestly. And
Dude,
I've tried to really apply that on a daily basis now.
as you should. I love that. It's literally, change your energy, change your outlook, and your life will change. You can't change things from that stuck mindset, from those lower vibrational frequencies, for sure. I totally get that. There's a couple of things that you brought up there, so I want to kind of touch on. Let's just say you didn't go on that perfect walk. You didn't listen to the guy and you got stuck in that low frequency, fear, uncertainty, doubt, all that kind of stuff. And, God forbid, I never wish this upon you, Lukas. I wish you 100 years of success and the big house in Montecito. Is that where it is? Or
I don't know. That's where my mom wants to live. And I told her I'd get her a house nearby. So.
Okay. Montecito, the yacht, the family, the kids, all that amazing stuff. I wish that for all you.
Thanks.
Just want to make that very clear. But let's just say hypothetically,
yeah,
you listen to that devil on your shoulder or whatever, the opponent, and you couldn't see your way out of that thing. And God forbid the business failed and you had to recreate a business from that point. What would you do differently? How would you rebuild from scratch, knowing what you know now?
That's a great question. Well, I think I think it's really good to lean into your strengths. It definitely would have been tough. Aside from like losing the business, just because I've worked on it for a long time and really believe in it.
Yeah.
What would have been really tough is I'm pretty cocky on social media. Like I like to call it the Conor McGregor method, where you tell everyone what's going to happen.
Ah, nice.
Because I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of this guy in round 5. And so I do that on social media. I say, yeah, this is going to be the next Lululemon and we're going to do $10 million next year. And
yeah,
I say it like very confidently.
Yeah, very confidently.
And if I'm a little above or a little below, I don't really care. But I do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, to speak it into existence. Number 2, because now the pressure's on. So let's say the business did fail. I probably would have had thousands of people talking shit, making fun of me. I fucking knew you were cooked, bro. Sorry, I'm cussing a lot.
That's okay.
There's a lot of people that are literally in my comments. I can't wait to see you working a 9 to 5 one day.
These haters.
Can't wait. Haters, crazy haters.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been tough. I probably would have gone home and cried a little bit, just sat back at home. Fortunate to where like I could go back and live with my parents and they would take me in. But I would try and sit down for a long time. Here's the thing. I got into the activewear space, not because actually I saw a big market opportunity and I looked at the numbers and said, wow, there's a gap here. I got into the activewear space because I was like, oh, I like working out and I can't find any cool clothes. And then after like a year and a half in, I was like, okay, can we actually turn this into a big business and how can we do that? And what does the process have to be? So if this were to fail and I were to have to, hypothetically, I would definitely take a lot of time looking at new markets, trying to find ways to solve problems instead of just creating something that I wanted and then trying to create a story that other people can buy into.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go, it's hard because on one end, like it's good to stick with what you're good at. Like it'd be so much easier for me to start another clothing brand from the start. I know I have contacts now. I know how to work with manufacturers. I know how to sell. I know how to run ads. Like I didn't know anything about clothes in the early days. So if I were to start another clothing brand, whether it be an underwear brand or a hat brand, whatever, I'm so much further ahead than I originally was. So I'd have a head start.
Yeah.
And I think I could get back to where we are today pretty easily.
Yeah.
But on the other end, like clothing is tough.
Yeah.
Margins are really slim. It's seasonal.
Competitive space.
You can only sell one product a max of one time.
Right.
Whereas like tech, you could sell it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, right? So I would spend a long time trying to figure out where the best opportunity was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can give you an exact answer on what type of industry or business I'd be in. But I would do the same thing. I would use my platform to leverage the following I have to bring on great talent and maybe use it a little bit in the beginning for sales. That's the great thing about a personal brand is like, if your business fails or goes away, like your personal brand's with you forever.
Right.
And there's a great creator. His name's Brian York. He's a little older. He was on my podcast too. I've seen him document himself building 3 different businesses over the past 2 years on social media, raising money for each one of them, getting kicked out of one of them, starting another, like he was the CEO, got pushed out of his own company, started another one.
Wow.
And it's just so cool to like see this dude's journey, and we stay pretty close in contact. And so, not only would I do the same thing he did, which is just, analyze new markets and opportunities, I'd probably reach out to a lot of people. I have a lot of, I think I'm the most connected 23-year-old today, to be honest.
I love that.
I'll say that like selfishly. Selfishly, like I think I am the most connected 23-year-old today.
Yeah. Right on.
In the business space. And I would just call everyone I could. Say, what are the biggest problems you have right now?
Very smart, man. Solving other people's problems. There's always opportunities there, for sure. To help people too, really. It's really helping a problem, which is great. It's not making it all about yourself.
Yeah.
I love that, man. A couple of things I really want to touch on here is one, talked about it earlier. You actually sent me a voice note about this a little while ago, and I could feel the energy. I could feel the excitement in your voice. And I was very happy for you because, some of the moments in my life that made the most amount of impact for me personally was connecting with an amazing mentor, someone that showed me the ropes, showed me the way, shared their lessons and blessings with me. And I was able to actually like see it and apply it in my life in real time. And I was able to move up very quickly in a lot of scenarios, business especially. So you told me you got this cool mentor. Is he a mentor for you? Is that fair to say?
I would say he's a mentor. We don't talk too much.
Okay.
I think it'll go back and forth and change. He's super busy right now with his business, but
advisor.
Yeah, he's an advisor for my business. He's got equity in my business. He's a shareholder. And I would say he's a mentor.
Okay, great.
I think this term is thrown around a lot, especially on social media. You need a mentor. And I think a lot of people say that because they want to sell you a course or something. So a lot of young people are probably listening and watching this thinking, how do I find a mentor? And to be honest, I don't think you find a mentor. I think you need to just try your hardest to maximize the opportunity you have beyond your own journey. And if there is a good mentor that pops up, then you take the opportunity that's available. I think it finds you. I think a mentor finds you, honestly.
Yeah.
And you need to be open to accepting advice and guidance.
Yeah. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Have you ever heard that one? Yeah.
I have not, but that's a great saying.
It's so true, so classic. And it applies in many scenarios in life, not just the mentor, but the teacher, the lesson, the scenario. But you got to be ready. You got to put in the work, like you're saying, and put in the effort. I like that. It's really, it's a balance there. But as I look back in my life, putting the effort in is actually a really good thing. It shows that you care. It's not, I would say it's you don't want to overcompensate and you don't want to try too hard, like you said earlier on, where you're like trying to be something you're not. However, I find it's really good just to put in the effort and put in that you care.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
On that note. So have you ever read the book, The Game of Tennis?
No.
So there's a book, it's pretty old. It's called The Game of Tennis. It talks about how he's like one of the best. He was the tennis coach for some of the best players in the world, I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
And it also, the foreword was written by Bill Gates, I'm pretty sure. And it talks
threw me
about,
off with that one a bit, but yeah.
Huh?
You threw me off with that a little bit, but
yeah, it's kind of out there, right? But and Bill Gates is a big tennis guy. But
okay, gotcha.
The whole concept of the book is what this guy realized and identified while he was training these players is the harder you try and hit the ball, the more you're going to miss it. So he says, like, the best tennis players in the world, they're not thinking like, I got to hit it at this angle right here and this angle right here in order to hit that. And I got to hit it. If I want to hit the fucking corner over there, I got to hit it at this speed. It's so natural.
Just playing.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he had this theory in his coaching career where he said he noticed this. And one of his students was trying so hard to hit the ball. And he goes, Sarah, whatever her name was, why don't you just try and like swing next to the ball? Like just he goes, don't even worry about hitting the ball. Just try and like have like a really smooth swing. And she went from hitting it like 1 out of 10 times to hitting it 9 out of 10 times. And he was like, wow, this is really interesting. And so the whole book pretty much explains that the best performers in the world, whether they're athletes or business people, they're not trying that hard. It's obviously a result of the practice and the time they've put in, but they're not like really trying hard. They're having fun, enjoying it. And I think back when I hear that to when I played high school football, I was the biggest tryhard on the team, without a doubt. I was like showing up early in the morning at 4 a.m., free period playing, staying after practice. I'd walk the train tracks for balance. Like I was the biggest tryhard on the team. It wasn't even close. But I was one of the worst on the team. I was a backup.
Wow. And
I was a running back. And I would sit in class and like literally memorize the routes all day, every day. I'd get home. I'd remember. I'm very obsessive, so it was the only thing I cared about. I didn't give a shit about girls, anything else. I just wanted to start one game. And for some reason, no matter how hard I tried, every single time that ball hit my chest, and I got like 1 or 2 chances during a game. Maybe you go, Lukas, get in there. Like maybe we're winning, or the main guy, the starter's tired. I'd get like 1 or 2 chances during a game, or during practice, I get 1 or 2 chances. The second that ball hit my chest, no matter how hard I thought about what route, let's say blue 42, whatever, that means like, oh, hit the hole on the left. They would say it in the huddle. I would think about, okay, it's that hole, it's that hole, it's that hole. I'd get in my stance, I'd get up, the ball would hit my chest, and I would forget. And I'd hit the wrong hole, or I'd run into somebody, or I'd fall over. And it was literally the most probably frustrating experience of my life, because I was trying so hard and it just wasn't working. Versus everybody else out there was just having fun.
Yeah, having fun. Yeah. Having fun is a code for sure. Because you're enjoying, you're not thinking, you're not stuck in your left brain.
Yeah.
Pressure. I got to do this thing. But I want to ask this, because we've talked about both these things so far. So it's like, we've identified that the GOATs, the greatest of all time, the legends, the champion, they're obsessive. Right? They don't have an off switch. They're just all in all the time. So what's the difference, would you say? And I don't know the answer. I'm curious. Like, what's the difference between someone that's obsessive, like these GOATs? We know Tom Brady. He's going home. He's studying. He's practicing. He's doing all the things. Michael Jordan, same thing. Most competitive athlete ever. And what's the difference between that and the guy that's just trying so hard? Do you think they get into that flow state, or what is the difference?
That's a good question. Well, I think these guys that do try really hard, they're also having a lot of fun. Like I think
they make it fun.
I think if Tom Brady spends 12 hours a day, every single day playing football and studying, I think he just genuinely enjoys it more than anybody else. Yeah. Same thing with Michael Jordan. And sometimes that's hard to convey. Like, and a lot of these like superstars, I think, will talk about how hard they work and all this, to almost like discourage other people. You're not willing to work as hard as I am. They'll say that on an interview. No one works as hard as me.
Yeah.
To like almost throw other people off and isolate themselves and say like, I'm the best, right? And discourage people. But I think they enjoy it because even for me, like,
did you enjoy football when you're obsessed like that?
I didn't enjoy it because I never got to. I actually didn't really enjoy it that much. And the second that the game was over, or the second that I graduated, I never thought about football again. And I don't watch football games or the Super Bowl, anything.
Yeah.
But I was the most obsessed on the team just because I wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
sounds like you wanted the opportunity to play, to actually have fun and play, and you wanted that so bad, but it never materialized, which just probably wasn't meant to be. You know? It would have changed the whole trajectory. And I guess it's finding that sweet spot, that pocket of just being in the zone and playing. And that's when
I think I just didn't understand that, like, how the game was supposed to be played. Not in terms of like the physical sense of like how to do routes. I didn't understand like the mental. It's at the end of the day, like, it's a sport. It's supposed to be fun. I treated it as like, this is work.
Yeah.
And I'm here to be the best. And because of that, I was the worst.
Yeah.
When I should have just been having fun. Everybody else in the field is having fun. And I was just like angry all the time. Like, I got it. Yeah. But even in business, like, I work almost all day, every day. And even the really shitty experiences are actually really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I woke up the other day, not the other day, a couple months ago, after this other story had happened, checked my bank account, $143. I screenshotted it. $143 in the bank account.
Yeah.
Right below it says Chase credit card number 1, $35K due, $25K due in 4 days. Right below that, $43K due in like 2 weeks. And I woke up, I saw that, and I was like, let's go. Like, I screenshotted that because I learned after that whole experience with Jared, I learned how to think the right way.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I think most people would be freaking out. I screenshotted it. I was like, this is going to be sick to talk about.
I love that.
And now I'm like having so much fun in the negative situations that I think a lot of people would get stressed about.
Yeah.
It's like fun for me.
I love that. That's a code, man. I'm so glad you shared that. It's really taking those problems as opportunities for growth. And when you could do that, it's like, I get to do this. That's my mentality. Yes. It's like, I get to solve this, or I actually get to, gamify this kind of thing. And when my mind goes into that, it's literally game on, because it's like, I get to do this. The way I look at it, Lukas, I might have shared this with you before, but like every day for me is a gift. Like, I really have a different perspective on life than a lot of people, in the sense that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like, I truly just have no idea what's going to happen. So it's like, all I have is today. And I really just do my best to show up every 24 hours that I get. And in doing that, it's such a fun game to live, because it's like, I'm not worried about the future. I used to do that a lot as pilot and all this kind of stuff, entrepreneur. And I'm like, I have goals. I write down all my goals, and the goals are great. I'm sure you agree. But it's really just getting to do the work every day. And now it's like, oh, there's more work I get to do. Wow, this is awesome. Maximum responsibility equals maximum adventure is the thing that I call it. So
for sure.
I love that. I'm sure you can relate to that. I got one other question for you. Actually, I got 2 questions. Let's talk about outliers a bit.
Okay.
I see you as an outlier, 23-year-old successful entrepreneur, major social media platform presence, doing the things that nobody's doing. It's an outlier, right? You're different. You're speaking your truth online. Sometimes I watch your videos. I'm like, wow, this guy really just goes for it. He really doesn't give a fuck what people think. And that's an outlier, because I think so many people get stuck and they never really go for it. They never really fully send it because they're scared of what other people think.
Yeah.
So talk about that part of it. Like, how did you get to the part where you just don't even give a fuck what people think? And you're just, you talk on your social media. I'd love for people to check out your page and just see the authenticity in this young man. It's wonderful. And so talk about that just briefly. How'd you get there? If you had to concisely summarize that. And then let's talk about outliers.
Yeah, two good questions. And thank you, by the way. I think as humans, we're wired to really care what people think because of a survival thing. It's like, 10,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago, whatever, if the people in your group didn't like you were dead. Right. You get kicked, they kill you and take your stuff, or they kick you out and then you freeze to death, or you get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, right?
Yeah.
So as humans, we're like naturally wired historically to want to be a part of the pack, want to follow the rules, and be seriously scared of being kicked out, you could say. But in these days, it's like the opposite. It's like if you conform to the group, like you're almost destined for a life of mediocrity and normalcy. And in terms of like how to get better at not caring what people think, I think you got to practice, right? First time you go up and talk to a girl and get rejected, it's going to suck. Second time, it's going to suck. Third time, it's going to suck. If you do it 100 times, you're not going to care at all by the end of it. Same thing with pitching. Like when I first started pitching investors, I was so excited in the beginning. I said, I'm going to raise $3 million in 10 interviews. And I got rejected 10 times in a row. And then I got rejected like 40 times in a row. And by the end of it, I don't even care, dude. I don't even care. I just like, so practice, number one.
Yeah, love it.
Same thing with the videos. The first social media video I ever posted, keep in mind, I was like very well known on my campus. I had just finished my fraternity president term. I knew everyone on campus. Everyone knew me, at least in our circle. And I'm posting like these cringy TikTok flexing workout videos thinking I'm going to be an influencer. 0 followers. I had no business, no success. Like it's cringy, right? It's cringy. And a lot of people commented talking shit. A lot of people talk shit behind my back. And that obviously sucks. After enough of those, you just get used to it. You're like, I don't even care. Right? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So you really care in the beginning. After a while, you don't care. And then the third and final step, which is what I consider like the self-actualization, right? Achieving full potential, is when you almost seek out the hate. Right? You like when people comment some hate shit, I kind of like smile. Because unfortunately, hate on social media is more powerful than love. I think in life, love is more powerful than hate. But on social media, it's crazy. I've done studies on this. I'll post a video and I'll get a bot account, like a literally another account that I own. And I'll comment on my own video, this guy fucking sucks. And then what happens is all of the comments will be like, you're a loser, your business is cooked, all this. People like, it spreads. And then, but I've also done it the opposite way, where if I post a video and right after I post the video, I put a comment in there saying like, I love this mindset. Thank you for this comment. It's me literally commenting this. It's a ton of positivity, right? And so humans in general, when you see somebody else doing something, you go and do it.
They just follow.
Right? You ever seen that experiment where all the people in the elevator and they stand the opposite way? And then the guy gets in, he just sees everyone else standing like that. So he does it too.
It's a sheep.
It's the same thing with people, right? So unfortunately, like you can have the best video ever with an amazing point and it really makes sense. But if someone clicks on the comments and it's 3 hate comments,
they just jump on. They're like,
they're going to jump
like
on,
this.
Right?
Yeah. So stupid.
Because they don't want to be, and because of that, if someone really likes your video, they're not going to say it in the comments. Even if they really want to comment something positive, they won't do it.
Wow.
Because they know that it's like bullies, right? If someone's getting bullied and then you stand up for the kid, it's natural to be a little weary that like you're going to get bullied too now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're afraid.
But it's actually a good thing. And I think the people that understand this the most, like Jake Paul, for example.
Yeah, he's the master.
He's the master. I really spent a long time thinking about, I was like, why is this dude posting these atrocious songs?
Yeah.
His old songs that he would post?
I don't even know. No.
He posted, apparently it's kind of known as like the worst song of all time. He posted this is when he was a vlogger in the old days. He posted a song called It's Every Day, Bro. And it was so bad. Had like a 98% dislike ratio on YouTube. It's over 100 million views. And it was atrocious. And I'm thinking to myself, I know this guy's a very intelligent dude. Why is he posting a song that he knows is bad?
Yeah.
And it's because he knows that it's going to go way more viral.
Yeah.
It's going to get way more views. It's going to bring that much more attention and attraction to his brand.
Yeah.
And so these days, actually, if I'm making a video, sometimes I try and throw in a little sentence or two that I know will like piss one person off. Like Elon Musk is someone that people always get really angry about.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about like a business lesson and then I'll be like, yeah, and Elon Musk is literally the smartest person of our generation. I'll just throw that in there because I know that 10 people are going to go comment, Elon steals other people's ideas. He didn't invent anything. Like
Right.
people just want to argue, right? So
Yeah, you're playing the game.
yeah, eventually you get there. So yeah, when it comes to my group though, for the second question, for anyone who's listening or wondering, I have my main business, which is activewear. I do my personal brand stuff. And then a few months ago, I launched what I call like a high growth network it's called Outliers. It's a group for the outlier. So if you guys have ever heard of like YPO or Hampton, Young Presidents Organization, Hampton by Sam Parr, these are high growth network groups for founders and entrepreneurs. This is like my version of that, but it's much more diverse. So it's not specific to founders. Like we have the jiu-jitsu guy talked about, like 23-year-old black belt jiu-jitsu. At one point, he was the best fighter in the world. We have like this brilliant 24-year-old artist. It's a community for outliers, for young guys, and I would let in girls too, but it's mainly just guys that apply, who are like in their early 20s to early 30s. They've achieved a ton of success for their age relative to others and in their field. So once again, whether you're an athlete, an artist, a creator, entrepreneur, doesn't matter, actor, they've achieved a ton of success for their age. And most importantly, they're just like good, genuine people. And so I let in like 25 people or so every quarter. And it's just meant to be like the everything group. So like whenever anyone in the group has a business question, they say, hey guys, I'm flying to China. I have no idea how to do business with the Chinese. Does anyone know how to do this? Usually in 5 minutes, someone will respond like, I've been to China before, and they'll hop on a call. And if people have like personal issues, like one of the guys the other day in our live call was like, yo guys, I got divorced last week and I'm trying to figure out how to be a leader and run my business while also dealing with this and allowing myself the time to feel this. And like, I want to be a man and like lead my people in my business to the next level, but how do I also like, really lean into my emotions? And so that was really cool of him to like admit and hear him talk about that.
Yeah, be vulnerable with the group.
Yeah. And so it's just the everything group, because I'm sure, as you know, this being an entrepreneur or really just going after anything is super lonely and isolating. At least it was for me.
Can be, for sure.
And so, yeah, this group is essentially like a way to bring together really bright minds, people who I think are going to be future leaders of our generation and whatever their niche is.
Cool.
And yeah, it's just like a privilege to be the guy facilitating this discourse, and I get paid to do it. So that's nice too.
I love that for you.
But yeah, man.
How many people are in the group right now?
We've only had one cohort. So it's about 28, I think. And then we're opening up the second cohort in like a week or two.
How many people are you taking in the second cohort?
Probably about 25 again.
Cool. So we'll put that in the show's notes too, just in case anybody's interested. Sweet. And reach out to Lukas. Lukas, you shared so much today. I appreciate all the lessons. And
yeah, sorry for talking a lot.
No, don't be sorry. It's great, man. That's why you're here. People need to hear your story as a young, successful entrepreneur, from the journey from a squid on his way to the Haus. And I have no doubt that you'll get there.
Thanks, man.
If there's one code, I use the word code a lot. A code is like you get this epiphany, changes your outlook. Now you're going in a new direction. And with the new direction, you get to a new destination. So if there's one code you could share out there, whether it's for young entrepreneurs or just young men in general, that could really make an impact in their life, what is that code for you? And what would you share?
That's a good question. I'm going to phrase this in a way that I made a video about this once on. I said, if I could go back and talk to my so I have a tattoo on my arm right here. It's of me when I was in like that depressed state, looking in the mirror for like an answer, hope.
Is that your future you?
That's future me.
Yeah. I love that.
And I love Matthew McConaughey's saying of like, my hero is my future self.
I love that.
So I had a very similar experience like that. And I was trying to think of like, if I could go back in time and talk to my 13-year-old self who was really struggling, what would I say to him? If I had 20 seconds, you get one sentence, what would I say? And I would just tell him, I would say, do it sooner. And I would leave him with that, because he would probably be thinking, do what sooner? Do this sooner, do that sooner. And I think the kind of effect that would have is I would do hopefully everything sooner. I would stop caring about what other people thought about me sooner. I would ask that girl out sooner. I would tell, my father and I used to have like a tough relationship. Now it's better than it's ever been,
Mhm.
but it required a bit of like conflict to get there. I would have, like talked to my dad about how I felt sooner, right? I would have been a better brother sooner, a better friend sooner. I would have done everything sooner.
Mm.
Because that's the only regret I have these days in my life is like, why did I not start content a little earlier? Why did I not start my business a little earlier? Why did I not hire my friend as a videographer a little sooner? All these little things. And so we only have so much time, and people usually wait for the perfect time, but there's no such thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you do everything sooner, your life will be much more exciting. So
I love that. I gotta say,
I want to ask you the same thing though.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I'll answer that, but I gotta say, I love that answer. It's wonderful. It very much aligned with what I'm saying, that every day is a gift. There's only really the now. You don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, do it now. The procrastination is not the frequency you want to be on. And I just want to say that I find it hilarious because you're 23 years old, and it's like, how much sooner could you do all this stuff?
Yeah,
It's so ironic, and you're crushing it. So I love that, man. You're so ambitious, and it's great. I know you're a rising star. You're going to crush it. And what do you say? What is my code that I would share with people?
What if you had 20 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute to talk to you when you were my age?
Yeah, go back to young Alex.
Yeah.
I would say that's a great question. And I've had the conversation. I'll just sidewind a little bit here. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in a mushroom ceremony.
Oh, so you did get to talk to your younger son.
I did, but I got to listen to what he had to say, so I got to, and he was so pumped, and he's like, dude, you're crushing it, and I'm so proud of you. And it was really cool to cause I've went back as the older self, or I went even back to future Alex and tapped in with the grandfather and listened to what he had to say. These are some pretty cool exercises, some cool codes people could get from that. It may sound whatever, but it definitely works. Matthew McConaughey is onto some cool shit. So yeah, if I went back to the younger self, I would say be authentic, be yourself. Don't care what people think, taking a page out of Lukas Pakter's book, just really owning that authenticity and that honesty and humility, with every step that I've taken in the ladder of success in life. I really do my best to just humble myself, because otherwise I would get humbled pretty hard by God, So that's what I would tell him. And I would say invest in Bitcoin as soon as possible, for sure. Just nice. You see Bitcoin opportunity, just load the cart, just load up and hold on for dear life, So, but yeah, that would be my thing. And probably tell him to stop drinking as soon as you can. I spent a lot of time drinking back in my 20s, had a lot of fun, but it doesn't really pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
So I'd say that to young men too, for sure. Doesn't help. And yeah. And also one last thing, I that's more than 20 seconds, but I would try to squeeze it in there, is like, you can do anything you want to do in this life. There's nothing stopping you. So I appreciate you asking that, Lukas.
Of course,
I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. Man. Keep being yourself, keep being an example for young men. It's wonderful. They need it. And yeah, is there anything else you want to drop before we go?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, awesome, man.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you, man. Keep going.
Yeah. Sweet.
Awesome.